Jane was excited to catch up with her friend Nancy in London. She dialed Nancy's number and eagerly awaited her friend's voice on the other end. But instead, a strange voice answered the phone. It was deep and ominous, sending shivers down Jane's spine. The voice whispered, "Nancy is gone. You will never find her." Jane's heart raced with fear. What had happened to Nancy? Why was someone else answering her phone? She tried calling Nancy's number again and again, but it always went to the creepy voice. After a long and anxious wait, Jane finally received a message from the local police. They had found Nancy's phone, but there was no sign of Nancy. She had disappeared without a trace. As Jane and the police tried to piece together the mystery, they discovered that nobody seemed to know who Nancy really was. Every lead they followed turned into a dead end. It was as if Nancy had never even existed. The mystery of Nancy's disappearance continued to baffle everyone, and Jane couldn't shake off the eerie feeling that something was not quite right. Where was Nancy? And who had been answering her phone? The unanswered questions lingered, leaving everyone puzzled and unsettled. Meanwhile, Jane couldn't shake the feeling that something was off about the entire situation. She decided to do some investigating of her own. She delved into all her memories of Nancy, their shared laughter, inside jokes, and countless video calls. However, no one else seemed to remember Nancy. Jane scoured through her photo albums and social media, but there wasn't a single trace of Nancy. It was as if she had vanished from existence. As Jane pondered over this mystery, a forgotten detail emerged to her. She remembered Nancy always telling stories about her adventures in London and the friends she made there. Jane recalled Nancy's animated descriptions of her life in the city, but she realized there were never any pictures or evidence of Nancy's life in London. Jane decided that she had to travel to London to uncover the truth. Upon arrival, she searched high and low for any information on her missing friend. She visited the places Nancy had mentioned in her stories, but no one had ever heard of her. Finally, Jane arrived at the last place Nancy had described, a cozy little cafe. As she stepped inside, the waitress behind the counter gasped in recognition. Jane's heart raced as the waitress explained that she had known Nancy, but she was not the person Jane had presumed her to be. The waitress revealed that Nancy wasn't a real person, she was a character created by different customers who would come into the cafe and take turns telling stories about her adventures in London. Jane was stunned. The mystery was solved, and Nancy was nothing more than a collective imagination. Though Jane's heart ached with the realization that her friend had never truly existed, she also felt a sense of relief. The strange voice, the disappearance, and the unexplainable events were all finally unraveled. Ultimately, Jane learned valuable lessons about the power of storytelling and the impact of imagination.